Hey, this is OXDF, still coming to you from on the road, so apologies for the mic sound, but today I'm hitting up admin of code day 6. I've just opened up and given this a read, and basically the summary is I've got Lanternfish, and every 7 days they are going to spawn a new Lanternfish, except for that new Lanternfish will take 9 days before it spawns, and then the first spawn takes 9, and then everyone after that takes 7. And so you're given a list of numbers here, so like where they are in their cycle. They count down to 0, and then when they go from 0 to -1, that's when it goes actually will jump back up to 6, which is 0 through 7, 7 days. And they'll also have a new one with 8 days, with 8 that counts down. So hopefully that makes sense. So they give some examples here. So like this one goes 3, 2, 1, 0, and then it becomes a 6, and there's an 8 on the end. This one right here goes 1, 0, and a 6 with a new 8 on the end. So basically, every time one's at 0 and it tries to go down, it goes back to 6, and it adds a new one with 8. And so this is I talked about how they like to really do visual spatial stuff. They also really like to do mathy things. So the challenge here is to look after 80 days and see how many fish there would be. And they're showing us, where they keep a list of fish and how many days they're in. That's certainly, I'm guessing this is going to be exponential growth, right? Every cycle, 2 fish come out or 1 goes in. So I'm guessing that probably 80 days I can handle in a lot of different ways, but in part 2, I'm almost sure they're going to tell me, go 1,000 days, and it's going to be the type of thing where the list gets too long, you can't keep it. So we'll look at that as we go. Yeah, let's get going. So let's do day 6.py. All right, we'll start out with our shebang. And 3, need to import sys. Now we're going to read in, I believe our input is comma separated, so we'll just do with open this 1, reading as f.read. We're going to take that and we're going to strip it. We're not going to strip it, we're going to split it. 1, comma. And then we're going to apply, we want to take each of the resulting, so we'll have an array of strings 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, and we want to apply the int function to each item in the array, so we'll use map. And then because we want to save it and work with it, we'll make that into a list. Now we can say fish equals that. Let's test real quick and make. So we'll run this here with Python A6 I06 sample. I'm going to need to put that I there if I want us to actually interact. So fish equals the list of integers like I wanted. Sweet. Okay. So now we'll do this the way that I don't think is going to work in part 2 first, because we can update for part 2. So that is just where we do for our anything in range 80, because that's the number of days we're going for. We're going to say new fish equals an array, and then we'll say for f in fish. If f equals 0, then we will new fish dot append 6, because that's what it goes back to. It recycles to 6, needing 6, and new fish dot append 8. So that's where it creates 2 new fish. Else, if the fish is not already at 0, then we're just going to do new fish dot append f minus 1. So that it basically leaves the day. And I think that's basically it. I think we're done. So at the end here, we'll just need to print part 1, and that'll be len new. So here's I see an issue. Then at the end here, we're just going to say fish equals new fish. But on the next loop, it works okay, and then we can do len fish here. That looks good like that. Let's see how that works. Example gives 5934. This gives 5934. Cool. Let's go back to the puzzle. Let's do it again on the puzzle input. Definitely taking a little bit longer. You can see how long that hung right there. That's a great sign. It's not going to work when we make this longer. I already know that's going to be the next result. So that worked great. Okay. So how long would the lanternfish be after 256 days? So you can already see in the example above, which is much smaller than my puzzle input, it's growing to be a pretty big list. So it's not going to hold on my computer if I try to run this. We can try it here and just make this 256 for the sake of just to show you. I will print underscore is a valid variable name in Python. It's typically used when you're saying I don't care about this, I'm throwing it away, but it technically works. Let's see how this works. So we're going pretty fast, and then when we get up to day, here we are in day 92, and we're crawling. So this is, yeah. So you can see this isn't going to make 256. So there's two ways I can think of trying to approach this. The first one is there's probably a mathematical solution. I can probably come up with a formula that says given one jellyfish on this day, on day, n, on day n plus 7, there's going to be this many. On day n plus q, there's going to be this many, and you could just figure it out. I'm trying to wrap my head around that, and I can't quite get my head there. But I have another idea I think is easier that I think will work. The reason this one's failing is because I'm making this list, and this list is getting to be huge. It's getting in the trillions, right? And just keeping track of that is memory intensive, and it's going to be really hard for Python to keep up with. But I don't need to keep a list of every fish. I just need to keep a list of the number of fish associated with each stage or day 1 to day 0 through 8, basically. And so if at the beginning here, instead of let's see. We'll start again. I bet you we can make code at the bottom that just solves all of this at once, but let's be figure this out from here. We open that, and instead of reading it into a list, we're going to read it into a counter. From collection for counter. And what that's going to do, run it real quick. Delete that and put that back to. We'll go to our example input real quick. And let's work from collections. So now what fish looks like is this. And what a counter does basically is it says there's 3. For stage 3, there's 2. For stage 4, there's 1. For stage 1, there's 1, etc. And now, with that, open to my loop again. So for that in range 256. New fish equals that. That looks fine. So now I'm going to say for, in this case, it's going to be X. I'll call for like the for stage, comma, num in fish. By the way, this is what's handy about counter here is that I loop over fish dot items. And dot items is going to return pairs. So it'll return stage 3 num2, stage 4 num1, stage 1 num1, etc., just like that. And new fish is going to do the same as a dictionary. So that'll work nicely for me. So what I'm going to do is if stage, spelling 0, then I'm going to do new fish sub 6 equals num. New fish sub 8 equals num. So that's because if there's 10 fish in stage 0, then on the next round there's going to be 10 in stage 6 and 10 in stage 8. And I can just do this setting. I don't have to do any kind of adding because the only way you get to a fish in stage 6 is if it was previously in stage 0. So then else I can do new fish sub num minus 1 equals fish sub equals num. Don't need fish in there. And then once that's done, I just need to do fish equals new fish to end the round. And we'll print part to, actually, we'll hold off on that because I don't exactly, I want to play and figure out exactly what my thing looks like. So Run that. And what does fish look like here? There's not nearly enough fish there. That can't be right. That looks bizarre. Let's print fish at the top of this loop. And let's also if 6. I don't want to convert it 6 times. Okay, so we start off with it like this, and we're clearly not going that. All right, that didn't help me at all. Let's debug. What line are we on? We'll break on 30. So you will know. Okay. So basically, we go into PDB. So module PDB. I'm going to give it a command of break on 30. I said hit 30. I'm going to give it another command to continue, so that it just starts running. And I'm going to run. Here I am. I'm at my first fish, so where I have counters. By step, I should have stage. I didn't save. Try that again. Step, I should have stage. Stage is 3. Fish. So I would expect num to be 2. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, I see where my problem was. I'm sure you were all screaming at the screen here. This should be stage -1, not new fish -1. Now what does fish look like? That looks like clearly not enough fish, but at least we're in the right number here. That can't be 256 days though. Print fish if and break. Let's see. So in the first one, we go from stage 2 has 2, stage 4, so stage 3 has 1, stage 0 has 1, stage 2 has 1. That all looks good. The next one, the 2 and 2 are 1, the black goes down. This 1 goes to 6 and 8, and this 1 goes to 0. That looks good. So we get one longer here. We get. So I wonder why that's. Let's see. Fish. If I do some fish the values, I think I want 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, that was good. So let's fish values. So here there's 5, there's still 5 because there's nothing in 0 there. Then there's 1 and 0, so we go to 6. There's 1 and 0, so we go to 7. There's 2 and 0. So we should, here's 2 and 0. Oh, okay. This is tricky. I see what I was saying this earlier and I was wrong. So the problem here is that 6 gets set twice. Because you can be 6 can get set from 7, so something in 7 dropping to 6, or something from 0 going back to 6. And so when I set it here at the stage 0, it's then probably later overwritten in stage, by this one. All right, so here we'll do counter default picked. Set new fish to default picked int, and then we will plus equals all these things. So most of the time that's going to be fine, but then Those are much bigger numbers. So all we need to do, already showed it up there, is sum fish dot values up to. And it helps if I can type what I'm actually saying. Use. So it's 26984457. What happens here? 26984457. So yeah, that worked. Give it my input. Might take a second, but it's actually, you see, part 2 is actually faster than part 1 in that case. So I mean, I think the solution would be better for part 1 as well. That does solve the challenge. Awesome. I'm going to go back here and make this cleaner code though. So we can combine these two. Ooh, easy. Okay. So from collections import picked. Let's come up here and get rid of all of this. Need it. Need that. That, and we will come down here and we will just do a simple if underscore equals 80 print work. Might need to be 79. I think it's 8. Ooh, it might be 79. It is 79. Ooh, did not like that. Oh, well, for one, because I didn't get rid of the S again. No, because I need to do the same thing here now. Sum use 36,194. Go back. 36, there's 376,194. So that worked. Just real quick, we'll summarize what the strategy here was. Basically, instead of keeping a list of all the fish and where they are, we're keeping a list of bins. So we have a bin for each of the days that runs 0 to 8. So there's 9 possible days. And then we just move all the fish at once, move all the fish in each bin at once. And that way we only have to do at most 9 operations on each day instead of, the number of fish, which is growing to be exponentially huge. So that's it for today. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I will talk to you next time.